guys, basically, I came across a post and I was just like, oh my gosh, we really are still doing this. Readers aren't reading. Readers aren't reading. The people that you see online who you say that they're reading, some of them are not reading, guys. And I know I had this whole discussion, like it's my most popular video, where I was just like, our book talk is actually reading, because a lot of them were talking about, they only read dialogue and stuff like that. And a lot of people were just like, it's just a few of them. But then I saw a post the other day, and it was the fact that there were so many people who were coming out of the woodwork saying that, yeah, this is what they do. They only read dialogue. And I was just like, wait a minute. So, because when I first made the video, I had first thought, okay, maybe this is just a phase or something like that, or maybe this is, I was hoping for the best, okay, because that video that I made with those posts, that was what, I think 2 years ago, yeah, maybe a year and a half. But no, people really aren't reading. But you know what, because that video exists, and really, what is there to rehash? I can't really do anything about people just reading like dialogue. But I do want to talk about something, someone who quoted like a post about someone saying they only read dialogue, but also the whole only reading dialogue thing. If you are one of the people who do that, like, please explain to me how. I'm no, I'm not even joking. I want you to explain to me how you do it. In the sense that I read certain books and I'm just like, if you're reading only dialogue, honey, how? Like, that'll give you, I don't know, maybe 10 pages of, okay, some books are, dialogue heavy. But even then, I'm like 50 pages max, probably, And sure, 50 pages, not like it's a small number. I mean, yeah, it's not like it's a small number. But are you really just opening a book? Because I know a lot of books don't start with dialogue. And it'll take maybe even a couple of chapters before real dialogue happens. There might be just like one phrase here and there before real dialogue between characters happen. So do you literally open the book and you're just waiting until you see those little air quotes? Okay, you know what? To test this out, I'm in my library now. And because it's still in the works, I know that I can just probably find. Okay, yeah. Okay. Literally just picked this up off the floor. Against All Gods by Matt Evans. I just want to see. Now this is a middle grade book, so there's probably like more dialogue than like other books. But okay. You have got to be kidding me. Nope. Great. Already have to flip the page. Ouch. Okay. Rain. Why isn't it working? Wrong sort of rain. What do you mean? Mortal rain, immortal flame. Do you see that? I have no, honestly, obviously, I've read this book. Love the series. No context as to what is happening. I don't even know who's saying it. So this is what I mean when I say, how do you do it? Do you read just the dialogue, or do you read the dialogue and a few sentences before and after? Because that would make a bit of sense, Or do you read the dialogue and you see who said it? Ouch, said him. How the people who say that they only read dialogue, how are you doing it? How I just need you to tell me how you're doing it. But that aside, let's go back to the quote tweet. The quoted thread. I don't actually know which app it was on. But basically, someone responded to someone who said, oh yeah, they only read dialogue. And they said, oh, see, that makes sense. That's how people are reading, 30 plus books in a year. And I was in bed, and I was just like, okay, yes, we're going to have to push aside the person who only reads dialogue, because again, that's a problem for another day, and we've already discussed it, really. But what do you mean? That's why all these people can read 30 plus books in a year. I'm confused. I'm confused. I feel like the conversation around people who are only reading dialogue or only reading certain scenes like action scenes and romance scenes, who are really picking and choosing in the books that they read, and so they're not really fully reading the book. I think this is part of the danger of what they're doing, because now you have people using them to justify their beliefs on people who read, I guess, large numbers of books or a certain number of books per year. And I say large because to me, 30 isn't that much. To me, I know for some people, they're just like, I only read one book a month, so 30 is a stretch for me, and that's completely fine. Honestly, as long as you're reading, you're reading. That's amazing. But I think in the wider scheme of things, especially with like a lot of the people in the online community, 30 isn't a lot. And I know that for a lot of people, the standard is around 50 because they strive to read one book a week. And that's not too bad if you really think about it. If you're like me, reading at night, reading whenever you have breaks. I'm technically off work because obviously um not doing well. But I would like read during lunches when I was at work. And let's not pretend that we're not out here sacrificing sleep to read. What about people who are up at the crack of dawn because they have a 2 hour commute and they're reading ignore that. And they're reading during their journeys, the 2 hour journey, the 3 hour journey, and two and back. If it's 2 hours, that's 4 hours of reading. So you can definitely read at least one book a week. And for the people who are reading beyond that, let's not act like some people aren't just fast readers. I'm a fast reader. Sometimes, obviously, slow down depending on the book because it takes longer to process what is being said, or sometimes you just sometimes some books I just kind of want to enjoy it. Sometimes I just be rereading scenes because it's funny or it's fun. That's true. But some people, they're going through it. So even 100 books is easy for quite a lot of people, or not easy, but it's standard for quite a lot of people. But the way that post was just like, oh, that's how they're reading 30 plus books. I said, 30 plus books. I won't lie to you. That's not too bad. That's actually very standard for quite a lot of readers, especially people who their main hobby is reading. I know people have a variety of hobbies a lot of times. So people sometimes do two different types of sports. Not that they have other activities like knitting, they like going out with friends, like taking strolls, they run. People have a variety of of hobbies, but some people, their main hobby, sometimes their only hobby, is reading. So 30 plus is not outside the realm of possibility. I'm so confused when I hear people start to attack those who claim to read this many books. I don't understand it at all. And I thought we were beyond that. So the minute I saw the post, I was just like, why did you have to connect them only reading dialogue to people who read what you consider a lot? Please do not bring that into the conversation. It's two different conversations that we're having here. One, that conversation about how much people read, how many books people can read. I'm so sorry. I thought we dropped that conversation. Leave it alone. People can read how much they can read. Some people are slow, some people are fast. Some people, this is their full-time job. Some people, they're full-time Booktok creators, full-time Instagram creators, whatever. They have time to do it. How are you using the fact that people only read dialogue, which honestly, I don't think a lot of us are considering that like reading the book. Like no, we don't consider that. How are you using that to now say, aha, I've caught you guys, that's why you guys are all liars? So when I say I read 52 books in a year, I'm a liar. Or it's because I'm only reading dialogue. Now, babes, are you okay? Are you okay? That being said, this is one of the dangers of the people who are not reading, or who are claiming to read but are only reading dialogue, they now have just people out here feeling justified for, calling us out, or for believing that we don't, or we can't read as much as we do. I'm just like, oh my goodness, more problems, more problems, more problems, and I can't have it. I can't have it. I won't lie. If you only like dialogue, read a play. Read theater. Like, plays are mainly dialogue, but the thing is, even with plays, there are directions in there. So I'm just like, are you now going to criticize Shakespeare when he says exit stage? Like, I'm just like, oh my gosh. The thing is, we want to encourage people to read, because reading is such an amazing hobby. We've spoken about it so much. Like, reading has so many advantages, like beyond the actual educational advantages, like helping to improve critical thinking, which it seems like a lot of people do not have these days. It can also help people explore different cultures, even different languages, different traditions. Beyond that, it can help people to develop, or it can really help with your empathy. There are so many advantages to reading, and reading fiction at that. But sometimes I hear like these people come out of the woodwork saying they only read dialogue, and I'm just like, maybe you should have just stuck to TV. Because if you say you're going to read, to me, I'm just like, okay, then read. Like, what are we doing? If you say you're going to read the book, read the book. Why are we playing games? Why are we out here saying, oh, I'll read it if I can only read the dialogue? My dear, that's not reading the book. Why are we doing this to ourselves? Part of me is really, really like exhausted, because I thought after like that video like a couple of years ago that people would come out saying, oh yeah, I was just joking. I do read more than the dialogue. I do read more than the action scenes. But no, more people are coming out of the woodwork saying, no, I literally only read dialogue, and I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I mean, it's not up to me, especially because like the people who are saying this, you guys are already adults. Like, we can't really, like, there's little I can do. I can't tell you what to do. You're an adult. That being said, if you guys have children, if you're a teacher, like, guys, get the children to read, and when they're reading, make sure that they're reading the full book. Make sure that they're reading everything, not just the dialogue, not just the fun scenes. Make sure that they're reading, and reading well. This is how we're going to help the next generation to become readers who read more than just dialogue. Guys, I'm concerned. I am very concerned. But that was my rant for today. I think that's it for today. I don't have energy to do anymore. I'm out. I'll see you guys when I see you. Who knows when that's going to be? Honestly, I can't promise you jack squat. But all we can say is I'm doing better. I'm doing better, and I'll give what I have. And right now, I think this is what I got. But yeah, I'll see you guys when I see you. Goodbye. Mwah.